We now cross to our correspondent in Hiroshima, Gilbert. Chris, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us and a warm welcome. Just tell us more about the joint statement on China that is expected to be held today.
This is a crucial moment, not just for Japanese manufacturers, but for makers from Europe and China who are exhibiting here as well at the first Tokyo Mobility Show in 4 years.
Mount Fuji is welcoming hikers the way it has for hundreds of years. Except this season, something is different. For the first time, each of these hikers must pay to access the most popular mountain trails.
It's been nearly 13 years since a deadly tsunami hit the Tohoku coastline here behind me, and experts say the residents of Fukushima continue to live with the ongoing disaster, the nuclear cleanup, which is expected to take decades to finish. This is the start of the Yoshida Trail. It's one of the most popular routes up Mount Fuji. And at these gates just behind me, for the first time ever, there are wardens checking hikers for yellow wristbands that say that they have paid the 2,000 yen entrance fee. It's been a long time between drinks. This mikoshi, a vessel carrying a Shinto god, is just one of many receiving the reverence of 500,000 participants of Tokyo's Tomioka Hachiman Festival, where they're doused in water to pray for rain and a good harvest. More than 30,000 houses remain without power. Now, that is the same number as after the earthquake initially struck on Monday. It's been 2 days and we're entering in Japan the third night now, the third cold winter's night, without heating and power for 30,000 households. It is a very strong statement, but that is the name of the game at the moment. The G7 in that same statement also said that they believe that the sanctions are working and that Russia is slowing down. Political scientists here in Tokyo say that if you look at the G7 a year ago, there were a lot of questions that there simply aren't now.
Is the second Christmas in a row that the prices of holiday-themed goods have gone up by more than 7% on the year before. Economists say consumer behavior has changed as a result.
Some of the books in this shop are hundreds of years old, but the shop itself is also a piece of history. It was the first one to reopen in this area after the Great Fire in 1923. It survived the bombings of the Second World War and the hardships following the economic bubble of the 80s, all in the belief that there will always be a need for good books. Japan's gender ratio is roughly 50-50, but it is men who hold the vast majority of power. They hold 90% of executive positions in most major companies. They hold 90% of seats in parliament, meaning it is men who are making decisions about women's lives.